So the Deebot Ozmo T8 Plus, this is going to be kind of funny. It kind of reminds me of like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders. Now, what did they all have in common? They were all trying to do two things at a high level. So Bo Jackson, of course, he was a football player and baseball player. And so was Deion Sanders. He played two sports. This is kind of like a two-sport athlete in the fact that it's trying to be a vacuum and a mop. Here's the thing. You always have to wonder about these two-sport athletes. You're like, what would have happened if you just focused on the one sport? Could you become a Hall of Famer? Great. Can you become a Hall of Famer at two sports? You know, win the scoring records in the NFL and in the MLB? Probably not. And that's kind of how I treat this right here, because it could be a better vacuum and it also could be a better mop, but it's trying to do both. So it's kind of just, it's good at both, but not great, not exceptional. So in terms of the vacuuming, a lot of people, you know, when they review, they'll just throw a bunch of stuff on the ground. I've done that before. I'm not really interested in that because I can tell you any kind of robot vacuum, it's going to do your surface level dirt. So it's not going to have that deep clean, but for the everyday kind of like dirt that happens, you know, it does a fantastic job. I'm just not sold on the mopping because, again, convenience. I'm not sold on the mopping, and here's why. Every time you do a mopping job, you got to take this pad off and clean it. Now, this one is, you could put it in the wash. You could also get disposable ones. At that point, okay, so you got to put the water in. It doesn't really use as much water as I would like to. You can, in the app, set it to make sure that it will use more water, but I just wish by default it would use more water because the pad was barely wet. Certain spots I had little stain marks in my kitchen, so I was like, oh, let's see if it'll clean it up. But it just kind of just went over it. It doesn't do that kind of a deep clean. And so if you have to replace the pad every time it cleans and you have to put the water in and then you have to take it out when you just want it to vacuum on the carpet, it's just a lot of interactions, you know. It was so much better if it was just with the vacuuming and then you change the bag on the autofill station once a month. That is way more convenient. With this, I feel, in my honest opinion, if you had this, if you use this, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to use it as a vacuum over the mopping feature. Like, if you have to do all this, why don't you just pull the mop out? Even a bad human mopping job is probably going to be better than a robotic mopping job with the Ozmo T8 Plus. So it's not great at both. It's good. And so another thing I would really have to give credit for is it's probably the most intelligent robot vacuum I've ever tried before. I just love the way that it works. It can understand. It doesn't get like the corners like really good in terms of picking up the dirt. So you're still going to need like a traditional vacuum just to do your deep cleaning. But for the everyday kind of things, like I said, if you take my advice, set this up at nighttime to do your vacuuming, you'll wake up to clean floors every day. Now, they're not going to be exceptionally clean, that like, you know, a deep clean. But when you consider that you're sleeping and this thing's working, you know, it makes a lot of sense to me if you use it in that kind of a case. Is this going to replace your mop and your vacuum where you don't even need either or? No, you're still going to have to mop when you really need to get out those stains and scuff marks or whatever that's on the floor. That requires some, like, you know, actual scrubbing. So it's not going to be able to do that. Apparently there's an accessory that will actually, the plate will vibrate to do an extra clean. But I'm just not sold on the whole mopping robot thing, especially a 2-in-1. I'm sorry, I'm just not sold on it. I just think they got some nice mops out there. You could just use a traditional mop. They got ones with nice spinning ones that can take the water out so you don't have too much water. Just get one of those. I wish we had good robotic mops, but I don't think we're just there yet. You know, when robotic vacuums first came out, man, they were just a novelty item. They didn't really suck. That's a dad joke there. They didn't really suck very much, but they're getting better. They're getting better. Now, is this like, I wish this could actually have more suction. If they just focused on that, I think they could definitely pull that off. But the 2-in-1, you're kind of getting a decent robot vacuum and a decent mop, but you're not getting anything exceptionally great. No MVP Hall of Famer type of performance with this. If you like this review, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your comments below. If you have any questions for me, or you want to get a hold of me, or you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website, handyandymedia.com. Once again, my name is Andy Baryer, Handy Andy, signing out. See you again next time. Bye for now.